Okay, hello. Here we are. I'm Jay Beershank. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're in Tanzania, Africa with the kids. We're here for another edition of book reviews. It's pretty funny to have the camera out here. The kids are crazy about it. Today we have an amazing book to review. It's a classic. It's by Goethe. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but the name of the book is The Sorrows of Young Werther. I really enjoyed this book. It's quite short. It's only about 100 pages. And it's about a guy that goes through a fit of like unbridled passion for a woman, and it's a really interesting portrayal of his obsessive kind of, I don't know if it's even love for her or just love for this kind of subject of his affection that's able to take his mind off of the depth of his own soul, which is really interesting because throughout the book, in the beginning, you really get an in-depth sense of this guy's character and his soul, and I really resonated with him deeply in the beginning because the way that he talks about other people and his relationship to them and all these kind of interesting aspects of his mind are really kind of resonant with the way that I view life and the way that I think. And then the fact that towards the middle of the book he becomes kind of like subject to this overbearing fit of passion was kind of like a little bit interesting for me because in the beginning I resonated with him so much, similar to the way that I felt when I read Crime and Punishment, how I resonated so heavily with Raskolnikov in the beginning, and then how Raskolnikov ended up doing his treacheries, which you can read about if you read Crime and Punishment. But yeah, I didn't prepare well enough for this review because there was one point in this book in the very beginning when Werther talks about I forgot what he was referring to, but he was referring to like a certain thing that he could do that justified in his own mind actually using his time for, because he was like, the quote was something like, I can spend my time doing this when other things I cannot spend my time doing because in my soul I don't feel like all of my potentialities are maxed out. And that is something that I feel so strongly in my own heart. It's like, even though I'm doing something cool with like traveling the world, it's like a passion and a dream of mine, I still feel like there's so many other places where I could put attention and succeed and do well and have fun and like give back to the world. So I haven't really found something yet that I can wholly give myself to and feel like I'm maxing out all my potentials. And when he said that particular part in it, I really realized of how closely that maybe he's viewing the world as to how I view the world. But I also love how the title even says Young Werther, because yeah, this guy is obviously young, and you can view that by first the way in which he has such like almost a, I don't want to say narcissistic, but the way that he really has this like entitled prideful view of everything. You know, he knows that he's smart and he knows that he has depth of his soul, and that adds to his ability to kind of orchestrate and illustrate and narrate his own thoughts, and that's a really interesting part of it. And also I think the unbridled fit of passion and how that ends up resulting for his life is such a trademark of a young guy, because I feel like if you were more experienced in life, you'd be able to shrug off these kind of fits of passion, if you will, but he becomes completely enveloped in it. And yeah, that was one reason that I really enjoyed the book, because it really does speak to a young man, and being a young man, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, and another part that I really love about good writers, like Dostoevsky or Tolstoy or Goethe or Steinbeck, these writers, when they create characters, they create these meta characters, you know, that embody a certain archetype. And I feel like Werther, he represents such a, you know, that youthful, passionate archetype so well, and I think that anybody who reads this book would be able to identify at some level with his sorrows, or if his viewpoints, if you will. And it's really just interesting to be able to have certain ideas expressed to you in a way that you could never articulate yourself, or you might not think about articulating in the particular way that it gets articulated through the book, which I always just love so much, because it helps you understand yourself better to, just to have maybe complex concepts explained simply. Like for example, that idea of maxing out potentialities in his soul is like such a over-encompassing thought and narrative of my own life that I never really could put into words, but then reading it in the book, it helped me like, oh, okay, yeah, that is the feeling that I feel. So anyway, yeah, that's my review of this book. I would give it a 10 out of 10 for its poignancy and its length. It's so short that of course it's worth reading. Goethe is, I'm sorry if that's not how you pronounce his name, but he's quite a famous writer. I found him out through Dostoevsky. He's referenced a lot in a lot of Dostoevsky novels, so when I was in the bookstore and saw a book by him, I said of course I should check it out. So yeah, 10 out of 10 because you can read it in a week or less. And the writing is superb, the descriptions are superb, the character descriptions are really, really interesting as well. But it's quick and simple, so yeah. That's my review of The Sorrows of Young Werther by Goethe. I don't know what his first name is, actually. Johan Wolfgang von Goethe, that's his name. This book was published in I don't know, somewhere between 1749 and 1830, because he died in 1832. So I'd imagine he came out with this book, yeah, I'm not sure, somewhere between there. So it's quite an old book, a really good one, recommend it highly. First book review in Tanzania, that's cool. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Peace, take it easy.